I see this a lot with the borrow defense application. One of the biggest things is just like for yourself. You know that you attended an institution, you enrolled at an institution where there's some deception that happened. You know that there's some deception that happened, but you're saying you're unable to prove it. But what's important is understanding what the borrow defense application actually states. When you read the instructions are clear about what the Department of Education is looking for and what things that you must do. Okay. Not only what things you must do, but what things are sort of optional in a sense. But when we're talking about the borrow defense application, the first thing that you see is the Department of Education tells you, if you believe you qualify, you should submit this application. So we've already established that you believe you may qualify. We know there's something that happened, but we're not sure on how we're able to prove it. The second thing, and I think one of the most important things about when we're talking about prove it, is the Department of Education says to you, first off, we need to be truthful. We're submitting under penalty of perjury, so we have to be truthful in this application. But one of the biggest things is to complete this application to the best of your knowledge. When we're talking about to the best of our knowledge, what that means is that we have some room for error in a sense. Because when we're talking about telling a story, first of all, for some, it's been decades since you've attended college. You've already graduated. We don't remember everything to a T. And with the borrow defense application, you're not required to. You're not required to remember everything to a T. We do have to be truthful in the things that we do remember, but we're not required to remember everything. And when we're talking about proof as well, some of these misrepresentations, this deception happened verbally. So borrowers, unless you were recording the call during that time, 10 years ago, then you don't have any type of tangible proof to provide. And first off, when I think about the borrow defense case, and this may be a little bit extreme, but I always think about when someone is unalive, when there's a case that's in court over someone that's been unalive and there's no body. And you have a lawyer that is standing in court proving that someone did this without a body, which means we got to have all those other surrounding factors to go into this lawsuit or this case to prove that this person did something to someone, and we don't have the biggest proof ever is the body. You get what I'm saying? And even though that's a little bit extreme, but I just think about that when we're talking about proof, and we're just talking about student loans, federal student loans. But the biggest thing is your story. What actually took place? And when we're thinking about what took place, not only just what took place, what did they tell you? What did this institution tell you? And you're saying that they lied to you, but based off of those lies, those misrepresentation, what was the result of that? What did it cause you to believe? Based on this misrepresentation or these lies that this institution told you, what did that cause you to believe? And based off this lie that after what it caused you to do, either to enroll into the institution or to continue the enrollment, we know that it caused you to borrow federal student loans. But the act of just having a federal student loan is not a basis to get the loans discharged under the borrow defense program. So we have to know, based off this information that was told to you, these lies, it caused you to do something. You made a decision based on these lies. But then after that, we discover, because you're going through that discovery process. So we know something took place. And based off of not only that discovery, once you discover what has happened to you, how did it harm you? How did it harm you financially? Because that's what the Department of Education wants to know. How are you financially harmed? And then once we are able to establish that, able to establish our story, the harm, the belief, how you relied on the misinformation that was told to you, then that is where we still go. That's when we start going to look for that evidence to support it or back it up, even if it is not your own proof. And this is why it's important to start getting those documentations together. If you're not ready to file yet, this is when we start requesting things, either from the institution if it's still open, from the Department of Education, all of these other ways that you can utilize to get that other supporting documentation to help you with this claim if you don't have anything for yourself. But you have your transcripts, you have your degree to show that you attended if you did graduate, but you have those other personal things to show that you did attend the institution. But then anything else that you can utilize to help support the claim. But we don't just completely and I'm not saying that you are, but we don't not apply. If we've been harmed, we believe we qualify, we're going to complete this application truthfully and to the best of our knowledge. We apply. Okay. All right. I hope that helps. Good luck.